Hi, welcome to Professor Kev Show. I got my friend Shavali with us from Carbon Roots. Good afternoon, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Hi, welcome.
So let's jump right in. Let's talk about Carbon Roots. Why'd you start it?
So I started Carbon Roots because I've always had an interest in environmental science. It kind of stemmed in middle school when I started learning about global warming and why it actually occurs, the science behind it. So then that's kind of where I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to go out in my community and make a change because I didn't want to just sit there and watch it happen. And fortunately, I had a lot of resources that allowed me to do that. So yeah.
So tell us what you're doing to advance this cause.
Essentially, my organization is meant to kind of target global warming. So global warming is kind of it's occurring because there's excess carbon in the atmosphere, and that comes from factories, cars, all these sort of industrial things that we use as humans. And plants take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. So my initiative is essentially to just try to get as many gardens and green areas planted around my county because that's more carbon intake, and that means it's going to be a little less warmer in our areas. There's going to be less carbon in the atmosphere, and hopefully that means that global warming will have less of an effect, at least in my area, if we can get a lot of green land. So the special thing about my organization is that it's carbon sink gardens, which is gardens that are strategically kind of created to sink the most carbon. So some plants sink more carbon than others, and that's kind of where I come in. I do a lot of research on that. And that's kind of where I help people build these gardens. I've reached out to a bunch of parks and commissions to kind of like suggest which plants they should plant. But yeah, that's kind of the main thing with my organization.
You kind of stole my question because that's what I was going to ask.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just having fun with you. Just, what do you grow that has the most impact and stuff, which obviously you answered that and how you're choosing that. Because honestly, a lot of people want to help because they see what's happening, but they just don't know where to start. Like, oh, okay, she said I should grow this, be like, okay, what do I plant? How do I make sure I'm doing the right thing? So you can guide people along with that, right?
Yeah, so basically, like my recommendation, it's also on my website. I have like a guidebook full of like the best plants. So essentially, you just want to plant things that are native to your area because they're going to do the best. And also plants that have deep roots, so preferably bigger plants if you have the space provided. That's going to take in more carbon. Like obviously a tree is going to take more carbon than like a small sunflower plant. But like it really depends on the area that you're building your garden in, if it's like drier or warmer, things like that. But yeah.
Talk to me about that research because that doesn't seem like it was really simple to figure out what you should plant.
So I I did a lot of research on Google. It wasn't like field research, but essentially like anything that can save people time, I think you can make a business out of it. So basically I did a lot of research and I found that deep-rooted plants, like I said, are better. And then I found like, oh, if you have this much space or if you have this plant in this garden, what plants go well with it? And that's kind of where I went from it. So I went like, oh, let's say you're planting an oak tree here. This plant wouldn't gel well with that. If you have a sandier climate, these plants aren't going to do well. And I'm hoping to expand my research into food plants too, so that rather than just growing the garden, you can also take the food, give it to food banks, but you're still taking in the carbon. But yeah, most of the plants that I have are on the guidebook. They all should be native. You really shouldn't be planting anything that isn't native in the area.
Yep. Now that's what I was going to ask. I mean, can we also plant stuff that we can grow food so we can kind of help the food pantries or families in our neighborhood while also reducing carbon? So you can do that, right? It went in
Yeah, of course.
good. So what's the best way for people? I'm sorry, I have one more question.
Oh,
Crystal,
it's okay.
what's the future hold? Because this seems pretty amazing. Are you hoping to be able to expand this into other areas?
So right now I'm trying to work in my county because I reached out to a bunch of commissions. I have one garden planted right now because I only started this last summer, in Long Branch, New Jersey. So I did reach out to a couple towns outside of my county, but first I wanted to work like within my county because I can't drive yet. I still need my parents to take me there, and I want to be like going there and helping them build the garden because I don't think it's fair that I just tell them, "Oh, build a garden," but it's hard. Like you need volunteers, you need money. So my organization likes we raise money, and then I also bring some of my friends from school who are interested, and then I help to volunteer. But wait, I'm sorry, what was the question again? I forgot what the question
It's
was.
okay. So are you hoping to expand this outside the area, which you just said?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
The
I was
counties.
just making sure.
Yeah, it's okay. So last question, how do people reach out to you? Because I'm sure people see this. Hey, I want to start a garden in my community. What's the best way to reach out to you to be able to accomplish that?
So, my website is CO2 roots, like the letter CO and then two and then the word roots.org. But also my email. I think you were gonna ask for my contact information at the end, so I'll just give my email. That's probably the best way to reach out to me. Also my number, but I'm basically the main orchestrator of the organization, so those are my contact information is the best way to reach out.
And that's on the website.
Yes, my contact information, my number and my email's on the website. I'll just type
Yeah,
the website like URL in here just in case.
yeah, I can add it into the podcast. Yep, I see it.
Okay.
I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call to the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thank you.